Have you ever watched a stock absolutely rocket skyward and just found yourself wondering what on earth is going on there? What's the real story behind that sudden surge?
Yeah, it happens. It's like a fascinating financial puzzle sometimes.
Exactly. And today we're doing a deep dive into one of those really intriguing cases. We're talking about SoundHound AI.
Right, the company that's big in artificial intelligence, specifically focusing on voice software.
That's the one.
Yeah.
So our goal for you in this deep dive is to really unpack the recent news that sent SoundHound AI's stock, that's SOUN, on the market absolutely soaring.
Uh-huh. We're going to dive into their latest financial results, what those numbers really mean, and maybe more importantly, what this specific company's performance can tell us about the broader AI market, which is incredibly dynamic right now.
Totally. Our mission today is to get to the heart of why this company saw such a huge market move. We want you to walk away understanding not just the impressive growth they showed.
Which was pretty staggering.
It really was. But also the critical challenges and, let's be honest, the huge opportunities that lie ahead for a company in such a cutting-edge space.
Right. We've sort of boiled down the key insights from their recent reports and what market analysts are saying.
Yeah, to give you a clear, concise picture you can really grasp. So get ready, because we're about to explore a company that offers a fascinating look into the future of AI and what it means for businesses everywhere.
Let's do it.
All right, let's jump straight into the headlines then, because the immediate market reaction was, well, pretty dramatic. SoundHound AI, SOUN, it just took off on August 8th, 2025.
It really did.
Their shares jumped somewhere between 20% 26%, just in morning trading. Now, that's not just a good day. That's like an explosive reaction for the
It
market.
was a huge surge, yeah. And the reason, well, there are a few reasons behind it. The company announced what they're calling their record quarterly sales. That's a big one.
Okay.
And on top of that, they managed to post a loss that was actually quite a bit lower than what analysts were expecting.
Which is always good news for a tech company still focused on growth, right?
Always a strong positive signal. And then sort of the cherry on top, they raised their full year revenue outlook. That shows they're pretty confident about where things are heading.
Okay, let's drill into those numbers because they're really striking.
Yeah.
For their second quarter, SoundHound AI's revenue didn't just grow.
Yeah.
It absolutely skyrocketed.
Yeah, the percentage was huge.
Up 217% compared to the same time last year, hitting $42.68 million. Now, to put that into perspective for you, that's about $10 million more than analysts from Visible Alpha were thinking.
Right. They were expecting something closer to, what, $32.9 million? So a significant beat.
A huge beat. And on the profit side, well, they're still losing money, but their non-GAAP loss was only $0.03 per share.
And that narrowed quite a bit from a year ago. That non-GAAP number, just to clarify for everyone, often strips out certain accounting items, giving maybe a clearer view of operations.
Good point. And that loss figure also beat the estimates. So better revenue, smaller loss than expected.
Exactly. The company's co-founder and CEO, Keyvan Mosher, he pointed this out himself, calling it SoundHound AI's strongest ever quarter.
You'd expect the CEO to say that, but the numbers seem to back it up here.
They do. And what's interesting is he mentioned how some of their previous strategic moves really delivered high-impact results with growth across every business unit.
Okay, so it wasn't just one thing. It was broad-based success.
It suggests that stuff they invested in maybe months or even years ago is really starting to pay off now across the board. It kind of validates their long-term plan.
And that confidence really shows in them raising their forecast for the whole year, right? They bumped up the revenue prediction.
Yeah, significantly. They're now looking at a range of $160 million to $178 million for the full year. That's up quite a bit from what they were saying before.
Wow. It really does seem like the company's hitting its stride, especially after maybe some earlier bumps in the road.
Definitely feels like a turning point. And what's really fascinating here, if we kind of zoom out a bit,
Yeah, the bigger picture.
is that this isn't just a one-off thing for SoundHound. It taps into this much broader trend. Voice AI is gaining serious momentum, like across tons of industries.
It's moving beyond just, hey Siri, or asking Alexa for the weather.
Exactly. It's going way beyond niche applications. We're seeing major adoption in cars, in restaurants, especially fast casual places, and in big company customer service setups.
And they've got some serious names
Yeah.
using their tech, right? It's not just theoretical.
Oh, yeah. They've got some big household names as clients. Think about companies like Mercedes-Benz
Wow, okay.
and Chipotle, When you hear names like that signing up, it's a huge validation for the technology. These aren't small test projects.
No, these are real-world applications, stuff you or I might actually use, maybe without even realizing it's SoundHound behind the scenes.
Precisely. Like, imagine telling your car, find the nearest coffee shop and order me a latte. Or having a drive-through menu actually understand your complicated order naturally. That's the kind of stuff we're talking about.
Okay, that makes it much clearer. And did they mention any specific wins lately?
They did. Diving into the details, the company reported a significant new win in China.
China. That's a tough market to crack.
Very tough. It's for their voice assistant to be put into cars made by a major OEM that's an original equipment manufacturer, basically a big car company. And these cars will be sold in China and worldwide.
Okay, so global reach.
And it involves developing multiple new languages. So it's not just about getting a new client, it's showing they can handle complex global rollouts and localization. That could open a lot of doors, especially in Asia.
That really shows their ambition and, frankly, their technical chops. So beyond these big client wins, how are they looking financially, like underneath the hood? You mentioned the bookings.
Yeah, the underlying financial health looks pretty solid right now. They boast a booking backlog that's deals they've signed but haven't recognized as revenue yet, exceeding $1.2 billion.
Wow, $1.2 billion. That's a big number.
It is. And maybe even more importantly, from a stability standpoint, they have no long-term debt.
That's huge.
Yeah.
A clean balance sheet.
It's critical. It's not just nice to have. It means they can actually execute. They can invest in growth. They can deliver on these big contracts without being squeezed by debt payments or lenders breathing down their neck. They kind of control their own destiny more.
It's also worth remembering, isn't it, that this strong quarter is a bit of a comeback story.
That's a really good point. Before this announcement, SoundHound's stock, SOUN, had actually lost about a third of its value just in 2025.
Ouch.
And if you look back even further, it was down something like 50% from its earlier peaks. That kind of drop can happen with tech stocks, market pullbacks, maybe some skepticism about turning cool tech into actual money.
Sure. So this quarter isn't just about growth numbers.
No, it's also about proving they can execute and rebuilding that investor confidence after those earlier setbacks. It's a big step in getting their momentum back.
Okay, so on the surface, this sounds amazing, right? Explosive growth, big clients, clear path forward. But whenever a company in a hot sector like AI has such a dramatic turnaround, you got to ask, what are the potential catches? What should we be cautious about?
That's the right question to ask, and it brings up several important things for you, the listener, to think about as SoundHound moves forward. One key area is just execution on those partnerships.
Making sure those big deals actually deliver.
Exactly. Announcing deals with big names in automotive and enterprise is great, but will they actually turn into the steady recurring revenue they're promising? Landing in the contract is step one. Getting the long-term cash flow is what really matters for lasting growth.
That's a crucial difference. It's one thing to sign the deal, another to make it work profitably over time. And speaking of profit.
Right, because despite making the losses smaller, SoundHound is still fundamentally losing money.
They're not profitable yet.
Not on a standard accounting basis, no. That Q2 non-GAAP loss was either 3 cents per share, but the GAAP loss, the official accounting number, was bigger, $0.19 per share. They have to show progress on margins.
So growing the bottom line, not just the top line.
Absolutely. At some point, the market needs to see a clear path to making money consistently, not just impressive sales growth. Finding that balance is critical.
And with that huge stock jump we talked about earlier,
Yeah.
does that make the valuation look a bit stretched now? A bit frothy, as analysts like to say?
It certainly could. Yeah, that jump definitely puts the stock in what many would call frothy territory.
Yeah.
Meaning, basically, the stock price ran up really fast, maybe faster than the actual business results, can realistically catch up in the super short term. So if that amazing growth slows down even a little, or if they miss expectations next quarter, there's a real risk the stock price could pull back sharply. The higher it climbs on hype, the harder it can fall if reality doesn't quite match. So yeah, you got to watch the valuation carefully.
And outside the company itself, there's always the wider market, right? The whole AI sector has been kind of a roller coaster.
Totally. AI is still what we call a high beta sector.
High beta, meaning it swings more wildly.
Exactly. Stocks in these sectors tend to move up and down more dramatically than the overall market. So big picture stuff like the Fed changing interest rates or investors suddenly getting nervous about tech in general, could really knock a stock like SoundHound around, even if the company itself is doing okay.
Like being a small boat in a big storm sometimes.
Kind of, yeah. The external factors can have a big impact.
And finally, after such a massive jump in such a short time, is there a risk the stock just runs out of steam for a bit?
Yeah, that's what traders call stock momentum exhaustion. It's pretty common. After a huge leap like that, it wouldn't be surprising to see a short-term pullback or just a period where the stock trades sideways for a while consolidates.
Like it needs to catch its breath.
Exactly. Especially if expectations fueled by these great results get a little bit ahead of what the company can actually deliver consistently, quarter after quarter. These aren't necessarily like fatal flaws,
Right.
but they're definitely things any informed observer or potential investor needs to keep on their radar, particularly if you're thinking about short-term moves.
Okay, so let's try and wrap this up. To recap, the bottom line from everything we've looked at seems pretty clear. SoundHound AI just turned in its best quarter ever.
Yep, seems that way. Explosive revenue growth, they raised their guidance significantly for the year.
And they're seeing their voice AI platform get picked up more and more by major industries. All that good news acted like fuel, basically,
Yeah.
and sent the stock flying higher.
Right. The key takeaways for you to really hold on to are that impressive revenue jump driven by big customer wins, especially in automotive,
Uh-huh.
and that strong balance sheet with no long-term debt.
Right.
That's the positive side. But you absolutely have to keep a close eye on their path towards actually making a profit, how well they execute on turning those big deals into real recurring money, and just the general up and down nature of the whole AI market.
So, huge potential, but also significant risks to navigate.
That's the story in a nutshell. Immense potential balanced by real hurdles.
You know, this deep dive into SoundHound AI, it's not really just about this one company's quarter, is it?
No, I think it's bigger than that.
It feels like a really powerful illustration of both the incredible potential and, let's face it, the built-in volatility of the whole artificial intelligence sector right now.
Absolutely. It's a microcosm of the broader AI play.
So as you listening reflect on SoundHound's journey, this really delicate but crucial balance between that explosive growth and the absolute need to get to sustained profitability, maybe think about this. How might those lessons apply to other emerging tech companies you hear buzzing about?
That's a great question. Where else might we see this dynamic play out?
Yeah. And what could be the next industry that voice AI totally transforms? And maybe more practically, what financial signs should you be watching for in those spaces to spot the next potential SoundHound or to avoid the next potential pitfall?
Lots to think about there. Spotting those signals early is key.
Definitely food for thought. There's always more to learn and uncover in this constantly shifting world of tech and markets.